Good morning, traders. It is 6:14 a.m. Pacific time on July 17th, 2019. Welcome to my trading journal. This is the Jigsaw day trader platform. This is trading on order flow only. No charts, no indicators, no fancy gadgets. What you see is what you get. These are all futures products. There's 5 of them here from left to right. You have the Ultra Bond here, the 30-year bond. You have the 5-year T-Note. Here you have the 10-year T-Note, and all the way over here on the right is the E-mini S&P. About 15 minutes till cash open. Things are kind of slow. Expect not a lot of movement until cash open, to be honest. Let's take a quick look at the overnight in the meantime. So where do we opened? Right about here, kind of went sideways, popped up above, made new highs, used that as support for a little while, and then looks like we might have had some data come out, which popped us down to the low, got bought right back up. I would say that overnight trading just always seems to be very, very organized. Makes you want to move to Europe. Anyway, bounced right off the lows, came up, popped through the highs, and then we just recently had some data come out at 5:30, which we'll take a look at here next, but that popped us up over the highs, and since then we've kind of slumped back down into range, which is what you'd expect with a mean regression product, an oscillating product like treasuries. They typically like to return to the mean eventually. So take a look here. We're looking at Wednesday. We had housing starts come out, and I think that was the big number that kind of pushed everything down. If I recall, let me just take a look real quick. It was a bit of a miss. Yeah, building permits were way down. Housing starts a little bit lower than expected. Not too bad, but enough to get a bit of a move, but not enough to sustain it. So shocker, back to the books, and we've moved one tick, and no, maybe not. Still trading right here at the point of control in the 10-year. So still have over 10 minutes, almost 15 minutes until cash open. Well, first let's look at our areas of interest. Overnight low, it's definitely going to be one. We've already pushed through the overnight high, only by 2 ticks. Which, if you've watched my previous videos, that's not really enough to look for a continuation, in my opinion. When looking for a continuation, I like to see 3 or 4 and a lot of strength when pushing through, and then obviously you like to see buyers step up as people take profits and it falls back in. You want to see buyers step up at that level and push it higher. In this case, I don't think that happened. I think it got sold right back down, and that's not a good continuation setup. It's not my favorite trade, but just as a general FYI, while we're waiting, I can kind of sit here and talk about it. But so that would be, a short all the way through this level as it pulled back down through the overnight high. So yeah, anything in this range here. Not really looking to engage. Just going to kind of wait for cash open and let the equity markets tell us what we're doing. No other real announcements coming out. There's Beige Book at 11 a.m. Pacific time. Sometimes that's a mover. Keep a heads up for that, but hopefully I will be long gone by then. So, yeah, definitely pause the video at this point. Probably won't be back for a good half an hour or so. All right, we're back. It's 6:47 a.m. Pacific time. And we have 17 minutes into cash open. And what we're seeing here is a little bit of weakness in ES. It's pushing the lows, which is causing all these other products to push the highs, which is exactly what we want to see. They have that inverse correlation going. The 10 years back up to the previous high that it made on that data. 30 years about 2 ticks off as of right now. Let's go ahead and square this up and clean up some of that. So this is exactly what I like to see. I like to see the ES pushing the lows, these guys pushing the highs. Let's see if the ES can continue to push the lows and we get a bit of a stall here in these products, or even some pushback, some premature pushback already. That's good. They're anticipating the ES turning around. They're kind of betting on this weakness in the ES being temporary. Wow, that happened quick. Just fell in here on about 700 with 3,000 up and then almost 3,000 down at 6 even. I don't know if I'll get filled here, but we'll see. Always have the option to pay up. I hate doing it, but sometimes it's necessary. Just give us a little bit more time to see if, I don't know. Well, I'll go ahead and pay up for it. We'll see what happens. Risk is still 2 ticks if it kind of blows through the highs, maybe 3 ticks. But this could easily drop back in down to the point of control. Only about 300 plus in the queue. Might not even get filled on that. It's always kind of a good sign when you can't get filled. $300. Man. Still 300, 375 even. All right, got about 10 more orders hit up. Yeah, with the amount of volume that runs through these, with the liquidity not getting filled on 300 contracts, it's a bit of a bummer if it happens that way. Yet again, I mean, this is kind of stalled out here a little bit. Makes me a little nervous. So I guess the Just looking at a bit of a confluence of all these products. You got the ES pushing up past the VWAP, which is kind of where it would be sold. If people considered this last push down an impulse, then they would wait for it to kind of pop back up and sell it back down. I'm not an ES trader, but that's just sort of what the patterns that you sort of see. So we got the fill. We're still offer at 6 even. Targets are set up there. Try to get a little bit more room for our last one. Might need to see the ES run through the highs in order to get this thing going at this point. Keeping an eye on the 5-year. If we pop through 19, 18 quarter, 18 3/4, might be onto something. Here we go. We got some little bit of aggression. Need this offer to beef up. Get the bid start pulling off. This could be just the initial push down, and it could get bought back up to the highs again, and then we could try to sell it back down as well. So I'm not opposed to just taking one tick here if I have to. Five-year still at 19. That offer beefed up, that's good. Starts pulling off, excellent. It's exactly what you want to see. Offer beefing up. Need this bid to pull. Got another tick on the 5-year, that's good. So this bid pulled off a little bit. We're down to 2,500. I mean, it's the middle of the range. There's no reason why anybody should be buying this right here. So just pull that bid off. You don't want it. Come on, pull it off. Need a few more contracts, a few more market orders down. Our offer's eroding there. Not digging that at all. This might be just a 2-tick winner, and then we just let it come back up. All right, pull that 2 ticks off. If it gets back up to 6.5 or 6.5, let's sell it back down. I think I've made the. It's always tricky of when to pull these orders, when to pull positions off. But I think I'm going to be a little bit more conservative, especially because I need to kind of get my mind right and get back into this. Probably could have scaled out a little bit there, just in case. But seeing as how I paid up for that, I'm okay taking it off a little bit early. Just lock in a little bit of profits for the first trade. So we're back to the middle of the range. Yeah, hopefully we get to the edges again so we can engage. But at this point, being as the position's been covered, there's not much to really do. So we're going to go ahead and pause the video and I'll start it back up if something comes up. Okay, so it's about 7:20 a.m. I forgot to bring my little clock over. I meant to do that during the break, but 7:20 a.m. We're back up here to the previous high. We're getting some continued weakness in the ES. The ZN did actually go offer at 4.5 very briefly, but then it just shot back up. These guys had no choice but to start buying this thing after the ES started making new lows. We are at the 3,000 level over here in the ES, which is a fairly big milestone, psychological marker for everybody, so you could find some buyers there at that point. We did break through the 3,005 level, which was key support. I was going to say we have about 5,000 on each side here to watch for any sort of absorption, but we've already popped through that level, and it looks like they're starting to attack 7 here. But keep an eye on it. We'd have to see some pretty significant selling coming back through. Even though it is only one tick past the previous high, we're still looking at, I don't think the 30 years popped through previous high. 5 years right at the previous high. Actually, the previous high was 7 even, so we just didn't, I think we just ticked into it briefly previously. So technically we're not making new highs anywhere yet. We definitely stalled out, which is good. Briefly went bid at the highs, and then we've been offer decent size there, starting to attack back down. Might have been a little premature on that one, but I'll take that trade, I guess. Yeah, definitely have decent confluence. You got, it's like I said, the ES bouncing off the 3,000 level. Hopefully that holds. Which precipitates the selling back down. Thus far, the 7 has held previous high, although it's starting to get be attacked now. Let's keep an eye on this number here. Hopefully that beefs up. Sellers just absorb any buying that happens. It's really just a 2-tick risk at this point. Previous support was basically at 4.5, so we'll just leave those targets there if we pop through. Look to keep this runner on. Previous low is right around 3.5, 3. Depending on what we see there, we might pull that off and let this try to run all the way down to the overnight low if we do get to that point. Again, it's summertime, so things will probably dry up here within the next hour, especially with no data coming out. But you never know. You never know. You got to stay nimble. You never know what's going to happen. I know what we need to happen now, which is ES to catch a bid. We need the 5-year to sell down. If the ES decides to go ahead and sell down through 3,000, could get kind of risky. Could get kind of ugly. Got the 30 years a few ticks off the trade level here, this black line. Like to see the 5-year down a couple tick, another tick or two, a couple more ticks. Here we go, getting a push in the 30-year. You can see they're starting to build a little volume down here in the ES. Somebody's putting up a roadblock for any selling, or trying to anyway. That's good for the good guys. Come on, start attacking this down. There's no reason to take this higher. No reason at all. Just sell it down. 800, 700 on the bid. You got to be able to take that out. Who wants it? Let's go. Well, the good news is we haven't seen any buyers as of yet hit back up into try to lift 6. Bad news is we haven't seen any selling down into 5.5 yet. There we go. That pulled off like 2,500 right there. That's good. That means you could have it if you want it. Not much there. Beautiful. Damn it. Let's do the same thing here now. Come on. It's already pulling off. Somebody hit down in it and just let it melt. Come on, start pulling. Not really interested in 2 ticks on this. I think it's got more in you. Not a whole lot's pulled off as of yet. Like to see the 5-year get down a little bit, a couple more ticks. Should be leading the way. Damn. Come on, we need some selling back into this. Otherwise, it's just going to be a 1-tick winner. Damn, that's a bummer. I thought this thing had more in it. Hold it down. See if you can hold it down. Otherwise, we just take a tick and try to resell it. on, boys. You can do it. Let's go. Sitting over here like a fucking cheerleader. Damn. Just not digging this at all. Wow, scratch trade, really? I hate scratching the high. Fuck. Thought this for sure had more than 2 ticks in it. Wow. That's a bummer. That fucking turned quick. Very quickly. Too quickly. 2 tick loser. Fuck. $30 not even up past the highs yet. That's the other thing I've noticed lately is that treasuries are working together and the bonds are working together, but they're not necessarily working with each other. That fucking sucks. All right, well, pause video. It's 7:40 a.m. Pacific time, just 11:40, getting into lunch hour on the East Coast, and I might be done, but if something else comes up, I'll start it up. Otherwise, it's looking like fucking another scratch day.